Hey everybody, welcome to the last week of the semester. So for this week, we're going to do something a bit different in our assignment. Rather than looking at another text, kind of think you've had a good fill of those, and we're going to be looking toward the final exam here next week. But for this week, I wanted to give you a preview of the type of work that you're going to be doing as you move forward from this class. Whether or not you're in literary studies or in other disciplines, you're going to be doing what's called secondary source research. So immediately you think about what is a secondary source and what is the primary source. Well, the primary sources that we work with are the texts that we've been reading, the historical text of Beowulf or Sir Gawain or Henry IV Part 1, or any of those things are considered primary sources. Secondary sources are a little bit about what you've been doing in your discussion board research. They are sources about the primary source. And that is when you think about a traditional research paper, you're not just talking about the thing itself, but you're looking at all of what the scholarly community has to say about a specific text. And the scholarly community, that word has a lot of meanings, but in this case, it's just people whose job it is to research and write about these specific topics, where they are considered subject matter experts. And so what you're going to do from this class forward is start not just writing about the text itself, but really engaging in conversation with the larger scholarly community. And you've been doing that to some degree already. That's one of the points of the discussion board, is to engage in conversation about these texts with other people. And you've done that throughout the semester. And this is just another step beyond that to take that model forward into scholarly research. And so if we think about the type of work that scholars do on these texts, they always look at them through what we'll call a particular lens. And so, like, I wear glasses because I can't see hardly anything. But when I look through my glasses, my eyes are not just interpreting what I'm seeing, but the things are passing through the lenses and I'm able to see more clearly. And if I had on sunglasses, I would see things with the tint of my sunglasses. And where scholarly research goes now is not just particular that those lenses color what we're seeing, but it's more of they are our way of looking at a specific text. So we want to think about, like, you can certainly summarize the narrative of a text like Dr. Faustus, but we don't need anyone to do that for us. We can do that ourselves. We want to take subject matter experts and look at it through a particular lens. I want to look at Dr. Faustus in terms of Marlowe's theology, or Marlowe's politics, or Marlowe's understanding of philosophy, or something like that. And that is what scholarly research does, is I'm going to take this idea and pursue a specific text through it. So in my case, my dissertation was on a writer named Thomas Nash, who wrote around the time of Shakespeare, and he's kind of this quirky, crazy guy. But what I did is I looked at his text through a rhetorical lens, which means I really focused on not just what Nash's texts were saying, but what they were trying to do. And a couple of you have mentioned that throughout the semester, of how an author might be trying to move his audience. And that is what I argued that Thomas Nash is trying to shock his audience into some repentance, right? Because he's viewing it from a Christian perspective of saying, I'm gonna lay out some pretty shocking things to try to stir you to that. And I looked at it through the lens of rhetoric. And that's just one example that you can use to look at a writer like Thomas Nash, or William Shakespeare, or Sir Philip Sidney, or the Gawain poet, or the writer of The Dream of the Rood. And so what this gives a big sandbox for which you can play in. And what you're going to see is, when you have a big sandbox, it can be very disorienting as you start trying to figure out where you want to go. So after this video, click on the next video down. It's a video that I recorded last semester that kind of gives you the introduction to library research, with some screen sharing to show you as I go through the library website and how to find scholarly journals. Now, why is it important that you use a scholarly journal? Well, we want to use those journals that are basically professionals in this sense, people whose job it is to think about and write about these texts. They are the subject matter experts. We want to involve what they're doing. And I don't think this assignment is going to be too complicated. and you'll see on Blackboard, just click through the ideas, everything that's listed there. It'll explain everything to you. All you have to do is write an MLA citation, which may be familiar to you, but if not, there's a link there to help you out with that. And then a one-page summary where you hit kind of the key ideas of the text itself. And the summary is basically, if I'm reading your one-page summary, I would know what is going to be included in that specific article. So also, as we look forward to the final exam, if you want to revise any of your previous assignments, please have those turned in by Friday, April 30th, this Friday, so that we can make sure so I can make sure I have enough time to grade them. But that is kind of the deadline for revisions, is this Friday. So I hope you enjoyed this assignment. I know it's a bit of a step of the next level of uncomfortable. We've gotten kind of settled into reading these texts, but I think it's a good step to help prepare you for the next steps outside of this class, in addition to giving you a break from the text itself as you get ready for the final exam. Sorry, I didn't put my phone on silent. See, I do that too. If you ever had a phone go off in class, it's very embarrassing, and I've done it too, as you can tell by this video. So please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And also, we're going to be using Turnitin.com. You've done that with your midterm, so that shouldn't be any problem. They're going to be using it this week and next week. You have any questions or issues with that, feel free to let me know. I know sometimes Blackboard gets weird. We can work it out. So take care. Thanks.